Good morning, students. We are doing the last part of the lesson, The Rat Trap. It's a beautiful story, as we have learned. The story conveys a universal message that the essential goodness in a human being can be awakened through love, respect, kindness, and understanding. It highlights the human predicament. Material benefits are the traps that most human beings are prone to fall into. Human beings do have a tendency to redeem themselves from dishonest ways, as does the peddler at the end of the story. We are going to begin our lesson today with the beautiful quote: Life is the most difficult exam. Many people fail because they try to copy others, not realizing that everyone has a different paper. Now let's come to the lesson, children. We were on page number 40 in the beginning itself, in the second para. We know that Iron Master had asked the peddler to leave, and now let's see what happens. But just as the man was opening the door, the daughter said, I think he ought to stay with us today. I don't want him to go. And with that, she went and closed the door. What in the world are you doing? Said the father. The daughter stood there quite embarrassed and hardly knew what to answer. The daughter was feeling ashamed of whatever she had done. She had closed the doors and she was not allowing the peddler to go. That morning she had felt so happy when she thought how homelike and Christmassy she was going to make things for the poor hungry wretch. She could not get away from the idea all at once, and that was why she had interceded for the vagabond. So here, children, this is very important question. Why didn't Edla want the peddler to leave? So the first point that you're going to write as an answer is this, that she was preparing since morning for that peddler and she wanted him to celebrate Christmas with them, and therefore she could not get away with the idea suddenly when the father asked him to leave. So she went and closed the door. I am thinking of this stranger here. Now see, children, here more reasons she is giving. Said the young girl, he walks and walks the whole year long, and there is probably not a single place in the whole country where he is welcome and can feel at home. Wherever he turns, he is chased away. Always he is afraid of being arrested and cross-examined. I should like to have him enjoy a day of peace with us here, just one in the whole year. Now children, this also you will have to add in that answer. This is another reason why she didn't want the peddler to leave. The ironmaster mumbled something in his beard. He could not bring himself to oppose her. It was all a mistake, of course, she continued. But anyway, I don't think we ought to chase away a human being whom we have asked to come here and to whom we have promised Christmas cheer. So all the reasons that Edla gives are very important, children. Actually, in the examination, usually the question based on Edla are only asked, and for this purpose all the three paragraphs you will have to learn by heart, where she is giving the reasons of not allowing the peddler to leave. You do preach worse than a parson, said the ironmaster. I only hope you won't have to regret this. So this was a warning given by father to the daughter. The young girl took the stranger by hand and led him up to the table. Now sit down and eat, she said, for she could see that her father had given. The man with the rat traps said not a word. He only sat down and helped himself to the food. Time after time he looked at the young girl who had interceded for him, who had now he was watching naturally again and again Edla, because he was thinking that why did the young girl interfered? Why didn't she allow him to go? Why had she done it? What could the crazy idea be? After that, Christmas Eve at Ramsajur passed just as it always had. The stranger did not cause any trouble because he did nothing but sleep. The whole forenoon he lay on the sofa in one of the guest rooms and slept at one stretch. At noon they woke him up so that he could have his share of the good Christmas fare. But after that he slept again. It seemed as though for many years he had not been able to sleep as quietly and safely as here at Ramsajur. Naturally, children, his mind was relaxed, his body was relaxed, he had not to bother about the food, clothing, shelter. Therefore, he was sleeping for the whole day. In the evening, when the Christmas tree was lighted, they woke him up again, and he stood for a while in the drawing room, blinking as though the candle light hurt him. But after that, he disappeared again. 2 hours later, he was aroused once more. He then had to go down into the dining room and eat the Christmas fish and porridge. So he was asked to eat the evening meal. As soon as they got up from the table, he went around to each one present and said, "Thank you and good night." But when he came to the young girl, she gave him to understand that it was her father's intention that the suit which he wore was to be a Christmas present. He did not have to return it, and if he wanted to spend next Christmas Eve in a place where he could rest in peace and be sure that no evil would befall him, he would be welcomed back again. This is very important, children. This is the special feature of Edla. And here she is different from her father and the crofter. If crofter would have known that he is a thief, then he would have never made him stay at night also. And iron master, you already know, he had asked him to leave. But Edla, though she knows that this man has nothing to do with her father or with her, but still she is trying to give him comfort, she is trying to make him feel pleasant at home, and making him feel like home here. And she's not even making him comfortable, but she's also asking him to come on the next Christmas Eve also. So this is a special feature about her. The man with the rat traps did not answer anything to this. He only stared at the young girl in boundless amazement. He was limitless surprised. Why? He was wondering, because he had never found this kind of person in his life had who had sympathized with him, who had felt so much pity for him, who had uh, who had not only given him the pleasure of food, clothing, and shelter, but more than that, as if somebody loved him, somebody liked him. So that feeling of like gave him happiness and surprise. The next morning, the iron master and his daughter got up in good season, good mood, to go to the early Christmas service. The guest was still asleep, and they did not disturb him. When at about 10 o'clock they drove back from the church, the young girl sat and hung her head even more dejectedly, because at Christmas, when they went for the Christmas service at the church, they got the information from the crofter that a rat trap peddler had stolen the money of him, 30 kroners, and was moving here and there. Yes, that was a fine fellow you let into the house, said her father. I wonder How many silver spoons are left in the cupboard by this time? So, father was more worried about the things that were there at home, as they were not present. Father and daughter were not present at home. So, father was thinking it might be possible that when they reach home, they find that the peddler has stolen a lot of things from their house and gone away. The wagon had hardly stopped at the front steps when the iron master asked the valet whether the stranger was still there. He added that he had heard at church that man was a thief. The valet answered that the fellow had gone and he had not taken anything with him at all. On the contrary, he had left behind a little package which Miss Wilmanson was to be kind enough to accept as a Christmas present. The young girl opened the package, which was so badly done up that the contents came into view at once. She gave a little cry of joy. She was very happy to see that present. She found a small red trap, and in it lay 3 wrinkled 10 kroner notes. So the money, you remember, he had stolen from the crofter, he has returned back. And now Edla was very happy to find that, because she can say proudly to her father that she had not relied upon a wrong man. She found a small rat trap, and in that 10 kroner notes. But that was not all. In the rat trap lay also a letter written in large jagged characters, bold handwriting, you can say. Honored and noble miss, since you have been so nice to me all day long, as if I was a captain, I want to be nice to you in return, as if I was a real captain. So today he was behaving like a captain because Edla made him feel like a captain, so he was behaving in return like a captain. For I do not want you to be embarrassed at this Christmas season by a thief, but you can give back the money to the old man on the roadside who has the money pouch hanging on the window frame as a bite for the poor wanderers. So he says that this money is not for you. This money is to be returned back to that crofter who puts the money pouch hanging on the window frame for temptation, and he tempts people around by hanging that pouch. The rat trap is a Christmas present from a rat who would have been caught in this world's rat trap if he had not been raised to a captain, because in that way he got power to clear himself. Nobody is a born thief, children. Written with friendship and high regard, Captain Von Stale. This is a very important question. Why did he sign himself as Captain Von Stale? Because he was behaving like a captain and not a thief. The ironmaster's daughter, when opened the gift, she was very happy to see the letter and the money. The peddler had thanked his host who had taken care of him as if he was a real captain, and so in return he had gifted her a rat trap and also requested her to return the stolen money to the old man. He said that it was she who let him free from the rat trap by raising his status from that of a mere peddler to that of a captain. At last he undersigned because of this reason as Captain Von Stale. So I think, children, you have understood this, that as no one is born thief, he proved himself to be a captain because he got the power to prove himself when Edla relied on him. So goodness of Edla had changed a peddler.